Hello mathematical literacy learners, welcome to lesson 3 of income tax. So today we are looking at something new called the tax table, and for those of you coming from grade 11, you're not going to be familiar with it much, but it's not that difficult, you'll see. So I got this from DBE November 2019 question paper, so you can download it yourself and see the entire question paper if you want. This is on annexure C for question 2.2. We are just for now going to look at the text table and learn what is on the text table, and if later on, we'll then come back and do questions. So today we're just going to look at the information that's available on a text table. Okay, so if you see the big table there at the beginning, we are going to focus on that first. And here we have two columns. There's a columns going down. If you read it down, it's called a column, right? So there's a columns, and if you read there, it gives you the year this is relevant for. So this is for 2018 and 2019. The reason it's for 2 years, it looks like it's for 2 years, is because of the financial year. Remember, the financial year begins on on the beginning of March, and then it ends at the end of February. So at beginning of March this year, and then end of February next year. For example, right now it's 2022. We are still within the 2022-2023 financial year, which is going to end in 28 February next year, if it's not a leap year. I'm not sure. Okay, never mind that. Now let's move on. There's a table there. There's a column there. Right. So now we're going to read row by row. If you look at this going this direction, we call this a row. So you go from left to right, and we call that a row. So in this first row, we have taxable income. And then in this row, it says rates of tax, which just simply means you're going to find the formula to calculate tax on this side. So what is below the taxable income? So remember, we calculated taxable income for Emily, and we said, let me get it. We said Emily's taxable income is 298,632 rands and 84 cents per annum. So this is her annual. So now what you would do is, now that you have a taxable income, you come to this table and they say, here are taxable incomes. Where does Emily fall here? Emily doesn't earn 0. She doesn't earn 1 rand. She doesn't earn 1,000 rand. She doesn't even earn 195,850. That's actually less than what she earns. So she is not considered to be part of the people who are going to be multiplied by 18% to get their income. She's not part of these people at the beginning there, right? And then we have 195,851 rands, right? So what's happening is Emily earns more than this money at the beginning, but if I check and 852, 853, nah, but she earns less than 305,008. So she is here. She's part of these people that earn this money, even though she earns more than this person and less than this person. She's right there with them, right? So this is what Emily's tax bracket would be. This is, have you ever heard of people talking about a tax bracket? I mean the specific tax bracket. Ask people, like, what's a tax bracket? I don't know if they know, but they'll say, I'm in a specific tax bracket. Okay, so this is a tax bracket that was in 2018, 2019, and this is the formula that was used to calculate tax for these people. Now, you have to remember this has been nicely put together for grade 12, right? So there could be one or two things not included here. So we're just learning the basics. We're not learning everything in this grade 12 syllabus. It's okay. It's okay, we're young, we got time, right? Okay, so the Emily, let's look at Emily. I almost said Sally. Sally was the first example. Emily here is earning 290. So this is the amount we're going to use. And so she falls here. So what do I do after knowing that Emily is on the second row here? When it comes, this is row 1 for the tax income and row 2 from the tax income, right? And then some of them, they will even give them names like level 1, level 2, level 3, or so on and so forth, which makes it things easy. Okay, tax bracket number 1 here, tax bracket number 2. So she is on tax bracket number 2. So what happens now? What do you do next? What you do is, remember, this is a formula. So you say income tax is equal to, and you copy this formula down. We are going to later learn how to use the formula, because in a formula you have to substitute, right? Okay, so that's easy. You're going to see. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to just look at the rest of the tax table here. So there's something here called tax rebate. So I'm introducing tax table, taxable income table, and then we have the tax rebate table, and then we have the medical scheme tax rebate. So this is for people who actually pay towards a medical aid and the tax rebate. Now I use a term that I'm not really supposed to use. It makes it easy for someone who's not practically involved in tax to understand what is tax rebate. I say, ever heard of discount? Something like that. Now, don't call it discount. It's tax, it's rebates, right? It's just rebates are provided to give relief, you know, to make tax a little less of a burden to the taxpayer. So if you're also paying towards a medical aid, that means you're not using government resources for your health, and therefore the government is like, okay, since you are giving us a break, we'll also give you a break on tax, right? Okay, so that's what it is. Discounts, actually. Okay, so what we do is we calculate the tax using formula, and then we give a person a discount, and we move on. So Sally earns 11,600 Rand per month, and per year she earns 139,200. Why are we emphasizing on the per year? This table only has annual income, right? The specific one that we have. So we're going to do per year, and then we minus her provident fund per year, and we get 124,800, right? Okay, so now we're going to use this 124,800 because that's the taxable income. We come to the table and we say to the table, where does she fall under? Tax bracket number 124,800, from 0 to 195,850. There we go. She is on tax bracket number 1, and that's why I wanted to do her first before we do the rest of the formulas. Okay, so how are we going to calculate this? We just say income tax is equal to, we say 124,800 multiplied by 18%, and then we calculate her tax. Now, this is the tax that she's expected to pay before we consider the rebates. Now, if we were to consider the rebates, right? Okay, so this is what somebody on tax bracket number 1 would be calculated, the method, right? So we're going to consider rebates. Now, if we look at the tax rebates, if you take a look at the tax rebates, you'll find that it says primary, secondary, and tertiary. Now, how old is Sally? Sally is 26 years old. So what would we do in that case? It says here, primary for everybody who is under the age of 65, right? But no, that's not how this works. This table is has a little bit of complication, because it says if you are under the age of 65, then your discount will be 14,067 Rand. given, you're good. But if you are over, if you're 65 and over, your discount will be 14,067 rand, and it will also be 7,713. So we're going to do 3 calculations. We're going to say Sally is 26, and then we're going to say Sally is 66, and then we're going to say Sally is 76, and then we're going to see what differences are going to be on her income, right? Okay, so let's look at that. So first of all, we're going to start with Sally being 26 years old. So Sally here is 26 years old, and we are going to do the rebates, right? So Sally is under the age of 65, so she falls under primary only. So we're going to minus this discount. Don't call it a discount, it's a rebate. 14,067 rand. So we'll go right there to the answer, and you say minus 14,067 rands, right? And then we see Sally is going to pay tax, but she's actually not going to pay the expected tax of 18,720 rand because she's 26 years old. She's actually going to pay 4,653 rand for the whole entire year. All right, so now we're going to look at Sally when she turns 66 years old. The Sally that's 66 years old is going to get a discount twice. The rebate is going to be calculated twice. So what we're going to do is we're going to say minus the primary rebate, which is for everybody, and then minus the one for her age, which is 7,713. And then there we go. So what happens now is that, all right, so Sally now, the answer we get is minus 3,060 rands. So which means Sally is actually not paying tax. She's not supposed to be paying tax at this point with her income.